Where do you see the future of tattoo going, Teresa?
Future tattooing, where's it going? Well, I think it's heading more towards fine art in some regards. Like, I think there's always going to be a need for the shop, the walk-in shop, the street artists that do a lot of stuff that's just catering to the Pinterest tattoo collectors and, people that are just looking for that first one to jump in the water with. But I think that we're going to see a continuous growth in turning tattoos into more of a fine art collection. I feel like that's where I've tried to take my stuff. I think that Jesse also kind of does that. He's looking to do more involved pieces that, in my mind, remind me more of like thematic installations in a gallery more than they do of just like, here's a tattoo, here's an idea that they wanted that I did. And I feel like clients are also seeking out artists not necessarily to represent themselves. I mean, they are picking artwork that they vibe with, but they're not picking the themes sometimes, and they're not picking, the specific designs or layouts. They're giving artists more artistic freedom, as you would with somebody if you walked into a gallery and you saw their work. You wouldn't say like, yeah, I see that you do horses, but I really want a duck. So I think. I think that that's kind of where things are heading with that.
Oliver, on the other side of that coin, you being a pretty staunch traditional tattooer, what are your thoughts on that subject?
I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be people on both sides of the fence. I think and people are approaching traditional tattoos in that same manner, as opposed to, instead of just walking in and saying, oh, I want a heart with my mom's name, or I want this, a standard tattoo, people want large themed tattoos of all styles of tattooing. And I feel like what Teresa's talking about has been a part of the tattoo industry for a long time, but it used to only be the other tattooers that were doing that. Like, other tattooers would go to a certain tattooer and be like, hey, do what you do. I love your tattoos. Do whatever you want. I think as time is progressing, the customers are starting to do the same thing. The customers are growing more appreciative of tattooing as an art form, and they're starting to give the artists a lot more freedom. Especially the more exposure tattooing gets and the more exposure an artist gets. Once somebody starts to get so prominent for what they do, like Jesse, people come to Jesse and want to give him that freedom because they want something creative that they can't think of. And, there's just like Teresa's analogy of the gallery, there's going to be those people that evolve, but there's still going to be the same people that, instead of going to a fine art gallery and buying there's still the people that are going to go to MJ Designs and buy a picture of an eagle that's framed, so
Yep.
There's both sides of the coin. And I think as far as for tattooing in the future, as I think where that question spawned, where it's heading, I don't think it's going in any one direction. I think the tattoo industry is constantly expanding in every direction. So all different facets of the industry are growing and getting farther apart from each other, which is back onto the topic that I was brought up earlier about the tattoo community staying tight-knit and communicating, between people that do different styles of tattooing, because as new things are experimented with and as tattooing grows, it's always good to continue learning. And if you just continue learning from the same guy that you've been learning with, you're not going to learn anything new. And the kind of topic, the thing I brought up earlier before everybody else joined, is like, me and Jesse are good friends, and I appreciate his tattooing. But people that like Jesse's tattoos may not like me, or may not like the people that like my tattoos. And so it's that little bit of a feud between the new school and the traditional. And the same with like the color realism people. Like, me and Nico are buddies, but Nico's fans and my fans aren't buddies because they feel like there's a side. And I want to like break down those walls of the, people feuding with each other just over different styles of tattooing.
How do you think we can make steps in our community to make everyone a little bit more inclusive?
Well, me and Jesse and Nico have had the conversation at different times about a discussion like this to where people that tune in can see that we are all artists and we are all open-minded and we all appreciate everybody else's art, and it might spread that theory of open-mindedness instead of having a forum where it's all traditional guys saying traditional is the only way, which is bullshit, because there's not only one way to do it. And I encourage people that get tattooed by me to also go get tattooed by other people. And I just don't think that it's, I think the more exposure that we have, the more chance we have to speak out about our openness to different styles of tattooing. And, I'll be at a tattoo convention and hanging out with so-and-so in the same booth, and then people will come be like, oh, they'll act like it's weird that we're hanging out with each other. And I was like, well, we're not against each other just because I do one style of tattoo and he does a different. It's crazy.
Fuck your beard.